One. Hello, you guys, and welcome to the Women's Cave. And yes, it is my turn to say this with the crooked neckline. Oh wait, I can't. You just can't start exposing, right? I'm glad it's not on TV. That's the FCC thingy, or is that the aviation FAA?
I don't know. I don't know. See, this is what happens when someone takes your shirt, right? They don't ask.
Oh,
they just take your
I
shirt.
was wondering where this came from. I was like, this is beautiful. I'm glad.
She knows where it came from. She went right in my closet and was like, thank you.
I washed clothes. She wore it a couple of weeks ago, and I washed clothes, so it's mine
so
now.
She just folded it, like she just took my clothes out the laundry. Oh, these are the shirts I want. This is nice. I'm glad it's crooked on you. I'm glad it's crooked on you.
This one wasn't done on purpose.
Winona.
Anyway, let's move on. Yes, Jade. Oh, you're introducing me. Oh, yes, I am Winona.
And I'm Jade. High five. Social distance.
Oh, we've been waiting to do that all week.
Yeah, we have. We kept forgetting, but now let's do it one more time. High five. Social distance. Yay! Yeah, okay. Done. Had to do it twice. Yes, high five to you too. I'll get social distance. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about our literary life guides with pop poetry.
That's correct.
What? That was super professional too.
Ebola
elbow. Yeah.
All right, we have And I Thought The Voice Was Bad, which is an audiobook, as well as a book you can get on Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. And then we have And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy, which will soon be an audiobook. And guess what, you guys? And I thought I had it all figured out. You remember how I used to always say I wanted a TV show? Well, I'm not getting it. No.
She don't need no TV.
I don't. I'm not getting it at all.
It wouldn't be good for her.
But it is a script, and we're about to make it an audiobook, so I'm kind of excited. Moving on. Then we have the rest of the And I Thought series. That's 13 books long, and we have the Misfit Guide series, which is tucked up behind in the back.
Oh, behind my. Hold on, wait. Let me move out the way and move it over. There we go. Bam.
Yeah, there we go.
And
then we have one of our very few all poetry books, which is hilarious because we're poets. But it's If Only I Were Me, found on BarnesandNobles.com, so you can find all
only.
So you can find all the books on Amazon.com or BarnesandNobles.com, and we are the founders of
the 25 hottest indie authors, artists, and advocates
magazine.
So y'all can check that out for $7.50, and it's 196 pages. So if you're stuck in the house and you're just bored, pick that up.
Hold on, I want to show you guys something. See, look at this.
No.
Face. You don't have to talk to anyone while you read because it covers your whole face.
Hey, you're just
back.
You're ruining my set here.
I am.
You're ruining my set, showing people my allergy medicine. This is not cool. Wait, where? I know by yourself.
Anyway, moving on. You're not here to hear about us.
You're here to hear from our Oh, wait. No, you find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com.
Yeah, we forgot to tell you about that.
Yeah.
There we go.
And now you're not here to hear about us. You're here to hear from our wonderful guests. Wonderful guests, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Andi Arndt, and I'm an audiobook narrator and also an audiobook narrator coach and the executive producer of Lyric Audiobooks. We produce best-selling, award-winning audiobooks for best-selling romance authors.
Oh, so that's just not me.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, dang.
Sorry.
What about just selling romance books? I think I sold 3. No, I'm joking. Anyway, I sold more than 3. So, okay, how did you get into voiceover?
Oh,
was there Hollywood here? Did you have any aspirations for Hollywood, and then you kind of came into voiceover?
No, I actually came into it from both a theater and a radio background. So, I guess the short answer to that is sort of like, you know the old Reese's peanut butter cups where they had like the chocolate and the peanut butter? It's like the theater and the radio adds up to audiobooks.
That makes a lot of sense.
Well, and that was super concise. I had set back for a story.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, we're done. Okay, it's not.
I'm gonna be honest.
It's like there's 10 answers to that, because when's the first time I enjoyed playing with a microphone was when I was a kid, and when was the first time that I actually sat down and, worked at a microphone was in college. And, there's a whole lot there. And I think all of us in our professional lives are the total of a whole lot of experiences that add up to what we do in any given moment of our careers.
Wow, that's really
and
cool.
she has an amazing career, you
She
guys.
does, y'all. Just
I don't
check
think
it out.
there's like any book like I've been like look at and it's like she's got something like almost every genre.
She does.
I didn't see sci-fi.
I have an actual question. What's going on? Terrible. My actual question is, so do you think that your background in radio helped you when you first got into doing audiobook narrations as coming from the marketing side?
Oh, from marketing. Well, I worked in public radio, and before that, college radio. And so there's not a whole lot of marketing in the traditional sense that we think of marketing. Although the way it worked when I worked at the public radio station here in Virginia is that you might have a shift that's half the day where you're on the air, but if you're full-time, you have off-air responsibilities. So you might be doing technical stuff or music library maintenance or whatever. And so my off-air job was, I was the promotion director. So I would go to various community music festivals or literary festivals or other community events and represent the station at, like a table or in a tent or out meeting and greeting. And we would sponsor various events to just, raise awareness of the public radio station. But the funny thing is, one of the things that we got in on the ground floor with was Virginia Festival of the Book, which is in Charlottesville every year, except it was canceled this year. And so the first couple years that they did that festival, I was actually connected to it from a public radio angle. And the last several years, I've actually been a panelist or presenter from my current job. But those relationships go way back to when I used to be the radio lady. So that's kind of been cool.
So you have the rare opportunity to, well, I guess I shouldn't say rare. There's probably a few out there, but rare opportunity to know what it's like from an author perspective. Not that you've written a book, but you probably have to interview a few, promote their books and stuff like that. And you also know how you,
See?
My tongue just decided to say it was like way too serious of a question. So let's try this again. So you have the author perspective and then you have the voiceover perspective. How does that help you in your business relationships now? Not like the Virginia or the book thing, but now like when you have to work with an author one-on-one.
Well, I mean, that famous saying, don't tell me about your grass seed, tell me about my lawn. Whenever we're a service provider, we always want to think about our client and what is it that they need? What problem do they have that we are solving for them? So I guess Heidi's Guide to Four-Letter Words, I co-created with Tara Civic. But otherwise, I've been in this as both a narrator, bringing authors' stories into audio and faithfully translating that into a different format while maintaining their intention to their audience and not trying to override it with something that I think it's about or foregrounding myself. I'm really there to serve the story. And then as a producer, I always want to ask authors, what we talk about casting, we talk about their promotional strategy, what are they trying to do with their audio, because there are a few different things that authors might be trying to do, what are their goals, and to really serve their business. And so I guess the coolest thing about my work is that I've gotten super interested in the authors I work for as business women, because the indie romance authors are all CEOs of their own business empire. That is their brand. And they are endlessly inspiring and energizing.
I do have one narcissistic question because I am the narcissist of the group.
Okay. I'm ready.
And then I have a real question. My narcissistic question is, as a budding romance writer myself.
She is not a budding romance writer. Y'all don't be fooled.
What should I know before going to get another before getting another person to read my audiobook?
Have you gone through that process with somebody before?
Yeah, my first romance story is already an audiobook.
Okay.
But I have a much longer one, and now I'm like, I'm kind of playing around with it being audio first and book second.
Well,
what should I know?
How did it go the first time?
Oh, real easy. She owes me a favor.
So it wasn't like a business transaction? No. Ish. Yeah, I mean, so I have actually told authors before, to press pause and think about how much they're about to spend, because it's probably the largest expense outside of like cover design, all the things besides what is actually in your book, or a really good editor, that kind of thing. It's an investment, and you want to make sure that your audience is ripe for that product. So I've had authors come to me saying, I'm just about to finish my first book, and I'd like you to narrate it. And I have said, that's not a good idea, because you first want to build your audience so that they're asking for your audio, so that you're able to say, hey, everybody that's following me in my audience that I have built up, the audio is coming out this day, here's the pre-order, da, 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 da. Because the last thing you want is to invest that kind of money in an audiobook that's an opportunity cost, where you're then not investing it somewhere else in your business as an author, and the sales don't give you back your investment at all. Because I've done audiobooks on royalty share that were labors of love that I just wanted to make sure that they were out in the world, and I've had an opportunity to do a few of those, and I've made back 1%, 2% of my expenses, and it stalls there, and that's it. So that's a very real possibility. Do you want to spend thousands of dollars and earn $100? So it really needs to be part of a global strategy in your business. You look at your audience, and you could ask them, how many of you are audio listeners? And if it's like half of your audience, that's a really good indicator. So then once you decide, yes, this is a good investment for me based on what I'm seeing in my audience, then you want to look at your casting, and you definitely want to find the right narrator for your book, and not go too cheap. You really want to look at that narrator's track record of sales, go on Audible, how many reviews on average are there of the titles that they're doing? What is the audience saying? Are they liking it? When you go on romance fan groups, are you seeing that narrator's name coming up at all? Like when you search the discussion in the sidebar on Facebook, for example, have people mentioned liking that narrator's work? Even one person mentioned? And it's hard for narrators, because they have trouble getting traction, because it's a chicken and egg thing. Like, you can't get cast until people know who you are, but how are they supposed to know who you are until you get cast? So, but there is an audience bonus when you find a narrator who has a loyal following, and people will one-click anything that they do. That will come back to you. So even though it's more expensive at the outset, you're more likely to get your investment back than if you take a chance on somebody when you're new and they're new and everybody's new and there's just not that much of an established audience. So, yeah.
Yeah, I really get that. Thank you for that wonderful information.
I'm sad now, because I already picked a narrator.
Don't be sad. Don't be sad. Be excited. Because, now that's why you have good advice.
Yes, it's good advice.
Good advice changes your mind all the time. But it's based on facts, and it's wonderful.
And experience.
Right?
Yes. Do you want to ask the advice question? We're supposed to ask the book question. What was it?
Dude, I forgot. I was going to be so professional.
Oh, I think I know.
Oh, wait. Yes.
Do you read the book before you narrate it?
Professional! Yes!
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, so
let's move on.
Professional. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to
elbow for that one. Yeah, absolutely.
For the people, we were talking before, and we were to and we always end up talking about weird things. And Andy goes, well, at least I won't get asked the question about the book. Do I read it before? And I'm like, no, we got to do it.
We have to do it because apparently that's what all the professionals do. So we want to be professional one day, like 10 years in the future. We want people to be like, hey, this sort of professional, they've grown up so much since they started 10 years ago.
Yeah, an advice question.
But she already gave the advice.
For voiceover.
But she already gave the advice.
Okay.
But then again, I'm going to ask the advice question, so fine. So do you have any advice for new voiceover actors? Yeah.
For audiobook narration.
Yep, see? There it is.
For new audiobook narrators. Well, yes. There's a lot that I can tell you, or to share with your audience for people who are interested. There are a lot of people who are interested in getting into narration. And so established narrators get a lot of questions about how to get into audiobook narration. And we like to know that you've already done your Googling. So there is a fantastic website called narratorsroadmap.com. Yeah. So people should go to narratorsroadmap.com. And it is like the meta site of all the things that you could possibly want to know about narrating audiobooks. Microphones, conferences, how to work for authors, how to work for publishers, what to call your files, which kind of computer you need, isolation booths, you name it. So I'm of the opinion that if there's already information out there on the web that's free, that's already out there, then make use of that so that when you are contacting someone for coaching or to ask a question, you're asking higher order questions that have to do with you specifically, maybe coaching for, performance styles, or talking with you about business strategy or branding or whatever. That's much more individual to you. That's when you want to go asking someone to enter a business relationship as a coach. Don't ask people if you can take them out for coffee, because that's an hour or two out of our day, because these conversations end up stretching. There's travel time to and forth. That's time out of our day when we're then not narrating, and then that impacts our bottom line. And there was one narrator who put it pretty bluntly. He's like, so you think an hour of my time is worth about $5 for that cup of coffee? And the frustrating thing is we get asked to have coffee or have lunch, and we take the time to explain all these things. And then 9 times out of 10, people don't do anything with that information. They just sort of give up on it. And then there we are, like we could have been working. So you will find that most coaches have an hourly rate or a package of information that costs a certain amount. Be ready to invest, because you're trying to earn money and you got to spend money to make money. So be ready to make an investment in your equipment, in your networking, in your publicity, in a website, in coaching. It's a whole thing. And one time I looked up, if you want to own a McDonald's, the franchise license is like $95,000. So, don't go telling a coach that you can't spend $125 or whatever it is for an hour of their time to, share their expertise. Because
I think that people don't quite understand that, and if you're trying, as we're authors, right? So if you're trying to just do your own self-publishing author thing, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
So you start up a business. That's why it's called startup, right? So you don't start up your car and you don't have a battery or gas or like an engine. You can't do it. You have to invest money into that car so it'll actually start and go where you need it to go. So the same thing comes with business, and I think that people think, I can do this on $1 and a dream, and could, but you probably want to have like $10 in a drink. You know, like $10 in a drink.
At least.
Explain this. I start a lot of businesses off of $20. If you want to get into the creative arts, this is not a $20 business.
But Winona is really, really good. Like, she's the person that you want to watch your bottom line, because she will be like, you can live without an I key on your computer. Stop playing. We're not spending money on that. You know where the I key is, darn it. You know it's the only key missing. You're fine.
And now I'm looking at mine. You know what's really funny is the one on my keyboard that I use in my booth, the one letter that's completely worn off.
Oh, yeah. It's an N.
It's an N. Yeah.
N, because every time I start a new chapter, I press Command N to start that new chapter audio file.
Yeah, but you know where it is. And Winona would be like, I will get you a nice permanent marker, and I will come in once every other week and put an N on there and below it dry. Just get it done. You're not getting a new one. No. But it's the best. She's the best and, like, the worst at the same time.
So the point is, like, if you're going into the creative arts, you have to invest in yourself, and you have to invest in your art.
And your brand. And your brand. No one's going to buy you if they don't know you.
So when
you don't know your brand when you're starting out either. Like, you don't need to decide what that's going to be from the get-go, because you might find that someone hears your voice and thinks you're perfect for some genre that you might not read for pleasure, but then you read it, you resonate with it, the audience likes you in that, and then you go, well, here's a business opportunity where people are responding to my voice in this genre, so why would I not keep my mind open to being in that genre?
Okay, and that's very important. I love that she said you don't have to have it at the beginning. And now we're at the last question, because we have to be at the last question. We're super time, because that's how our life rolls.
Oh, yeah, we have another interview.
Yeah, so here it goes. We'll find out more about you on the web and your business.
And if you can co-create with them.
Please don't. You don't take her seriously. Don't do it, Andi. Don't do it. Don't do it.
My website is andiarnt.com. I'm on Facebook. My business page is, if you look for Andi Arnt Narrator, that's where I interact as a business. My Instagram is at offmicandi. It's not off my candy. So it's like I see it and it looks like off my candy. And I'm sort of on Twitter at Andi_Arnt. Sometimes there's a little too much drama on Twitter for me, so I just use it to promote books, and then I just kind of post and run. So
that's the best way to do drama: post and run.
Absolutely.
Here's my 2 cents. I'm off.
It's so true. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Kid, would you like to wrap us up?
Absolutely. So you can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com. While you're there, take a moment, go to the ladies tab, go to the middle of the page, and see the charities that we proudly support. We know that times aren't as well as they should be, right? And people don't have money. And so if you were just doing some spring cleaning and you're like, why do I have 17 pairs of jeans and I only need 12? You might want to donate that to them. And also, if you have just a little bit of knowledge or time, even just an encouraging word to give to them so they can feel like, okay, I am making an impact, and I can keep going, that would be awesome, too. You could just drop them a line. Thank you so much in advance. It's a win-win situation. So remember that wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona.
And Jade. Bye-bye.
Bye.